I really never actually know how to start these lives. But I'm always fiddling with something and it's just confusing me. Oh, good Lord. How are you? Happy December 1st. Okay, so volume is good. There is no echo. Please, if you stumble upon this live, give it a like, comment, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, maybe mull it over, consider subscribing to my channel. And I thank you so much for your energy. I thank you if you are returning and you comment and you watch and you give me the time of day. Thank you. This live is I wasn't gonna come on here and do a live. I've been feeling pretty bad. I've been sick. I've been better, and then I've been sick again. I've been energetically upgrading at a level that is beyond anything that I could have imagined. I would have been able to physically handle, which probably explains why I've been so sick. Probably, I would say. I don't have notes per se, but something came to me while I was coming on here, and I did type it down. I just, in case I do sort of lose my track. So you'll see my gaze go back and forth, and hello, whoever is here. I recently decided to pick up the book New Earth. I don't know if you watched the live stream which I came on here, and the title of that live stream is New Earth Isn't Just the Title of a Book. And I came on here and I was pretty triggered because a trigger for me that I have just realized, I don't know why I'm just realizing this now, is when spiritual or religious people who have big platforms and people listen to them and follow them abuse their platforms, abuse spirituality or religion, and start teaching stuff which is neither spirituality nor religion. Teaching stuff that isn't Dharma, teaching corruption. And it actually, as I'm saying this, it reminded me of a quote by Krishna that I frequently have come on here and said. And that quote is, "We appear on earth when Dharma gets corrupted." And I tell this story a lot. I posted that quote on Facebook and people started laughing. They put the laughing emoji underneath it. And it's not even something I said. This was a quote from Krishna. So that tells you a lot about where we're at as a collective. It might not tell you anything. It might tell you that this woman is easily triggered and she deleted her entire Facebook profile because people laughed at her, which tells me that she's very weak and I'm going to switch off now. But it's actually a little bit more than that. Let me dial it back a little bit and go back to the woman that triggered me a lot, to the point that I believe I came on here and I wasn't too different from her. I wasn't very kind, although I didn't expose who that person was. I didn't name the channel. I didn't name the platform. But I was very angry. And I was maybe not angry. Wait, I wasn't angry. I was triggered. I was shocked. I was shocked. I continue to be shocked at things that I am seeing human beings do. And perhaps the shock that the triggering and the shock that occurs to me stumbles me, a couple of notches back into being unconscious, takes me away from my level of evolution, and I fall back a little bit. So in many ways, even though I'm going to leave that live, I'm not going to take it down, because I learned from myself as well. I believe I wasn't too different in my behavior than what I was calling out. You know what I mean? I was kind of a little bit of a hypocrite there. Even though it wasn't intentional, I still was able to see it. I still was able to capture myself without judging myself, which is why I'm leaving the live stream up. I'm not ashamed of what I did. I'm actually trying to be a good example and call myself out in front of people, in front of you, in front of me, in front of the person that I have become, without shaming who I was, but rather just observing and seeing and learning and coming on here and trying to be better. Which is why I went back and I started reading the book New Earth. And yesterday, as I was reading it, I think I was on page 69 or something. And the book New Earth, if you don't know it, it's a spiritual book. It's written by a spiritual guru, even though I don't like that to use that word, who is Eckhart Tolle. He lives in Vancouver, Canada. I look up to this man a lot. I love this man, regardless that I believe he's a little bit on the lefty side. Reading his book, I can pick up points where he is unconscious, which is funny, which is very, very interesting. And I don't judge him. I still love him dearly, dearly. I love this man. But he said something in that book that it took me aback, and it made me realize the errors that I had done. And it was sort of the inspiration for this live stream. What I read was that he defined forgiveness and what forgiveness actually means. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you're going to ignore what a person did to you. It doesn't mean a lot of things that people think it means. So let me explain to you what he said, and then I'm going to add some stuff to it. What he said was forgiving someone is being able to look beyond their unconsciousness. This is what Eckhart Tolle said, not what I am saying. Okay, I just want to be clear. I'm not plagiarizing. I'm quoting Eckhart Tolle from his book, A New Earth, and I'm going to explain further and add. In his book, he said forgiving someone means looking beyond, choosing to look beyond their unconsciousness. I'll give you an example. I encounter people, regular people. I don't know anyone who's at the level of spiritual awakening that I am in real life. And the ones that are online have massive platforms and I can't talk to them. So I encounter and I talk to regular people every day. I'm not a snob. I understand that I have to protect them and protect myself. It's a two-way street. From various things, which I don't want to get into now. But sometimes when I interact with people, I see their unconsciousness. When a man starts flirting with me, I can tell exactly what it is that he's attracted. First of all, I can tell, like spot on, the minute he starts walking towards me, that this is a man who's attracted to me and he's going to start flirting with me. And sure enough, he begins the flirtation. And I always can tell you what it is that he attracted him to me. Attracted him to me. And I can tell the patterns in that person. I can tell a lot. I can actually, if I wasn't a decent human being, I could probably manipulate this person into a relationship and manipulate him to get things that I want out of him. But I usually disengage. I take, I try to be very, very superficial in my interaction. And I interact with men like this with a lot of compassion. It almost comes off as mothering. I feel motherly, which is weird if you think of it. I feel very motherly towards them, and I feel like I need to protect them. So I walk away. I don't engage because it's not a level playing field at this point. But I was able to see beyond I didn't get offended by their flirtatiousness or whatever pattern it is that they engage in to get a female, to get a partner, to get noticed, to get sex, to get liked, to get love. I can see beyond it. I disengage and I give them compassion and I walk away. Usually I don't judge them. And it happens a lot to me, by the way. Another example, if this is too much for you, is people, I catch them in lies. Be it straight up lying, be it white lies, it really doesn't matter. Be it a personal lie that they're giving me when I'm asking them for the truth. I don't take offense, is number one. I don't call them out on the lie because I don't know what it is, why they're lying. I really don't know. So I choose again to disengage. I've recognized that there's a lie in here. I don't call them out. I don't hurt them. I don't sink in my own evolution or my consciousness by engaging in conflict with them or disagreeing with them or telling them you're a liar or blah, 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 blah. I take what I've learned from this experience and I walk away. And I know that, okay, this person is not to the level where they can be honest. Again, I don't judge them. I just shine the light of, I guess, wisdom on the situation. And I interact with them still, just with caution, without disturbing them too much. That's another example. So that's being able to see through someone's unconsciousness and not letting it sink you. What happened to me when I came on here and I saw that lady who was pretending to be spiritual, regardless if she knows that she's pretending or not, or if truly she is, again, this is where the term dharma gets corrupted, fits in. These people do not represent dharma. They do not represent true religion. They do not speak in the name of spirituality, but here they are with massive platforms and people are listening to them. That to me is a trigger. It's a trigger from my life growing up in a country where I was suppressed and oppressed under a very, very radical, oppressive ideology, and where people spoke in the name of that ideology a lot. A lot. And it was all false. It was all false. It continues to be false. So that is my personal trigger that I was able to see by both examining, looking at that live stream, reading that book, and applying what I saw and what I learned to myself. So here comes within the act of forgiving yourself and forgiving other people. So the you that is now, I'm just going to skip a little bit and tell you what came to me before I came on here to do this live. The you that is now, right now, you watching me right now, can see the unconscious acts of either me or perhaps you. And here we dive into a little bit of shadow work. The majority of humanity is unable to examine itself, either out of fear, either out of sheer ignorance, or because they judge themselves. Do you ever sit back and think of something that you did that you don't like to think about and feel intense shame or feel intense anger at yourself and judgment? You judge yourself. You judge the person that you were. The you that is now is judging the person that was maybe 2 days ago, maybe a month ago, maybe a year ago, and what they did, and you're unable to reconcile it. So you stop thinking about it. You can't deal with it. That's the essence of shadow work. And you need to reach a point, the you that is now needs to reach a point of evolution where you can give yourself compassion, where you can look at the mistakes. Maybe you cheated on a spouse. Maybe you hurt an animal. Maybe you hurt another human being. Maybe you lied. Maybe you stole. Maybe you deceived. Maybe. Shit that we all did, pretty much, you know? You hurt another life form, either with words or with an act, and you can't accept that. So you shove it. You suppress that aspect of you because you can't deal with it. That's sort of the epiphany that came to me about forgiveness. So the you that is now should not judge or hate that you. The you that is now should be able to just see the you that was, accept what happened. That's number one. And after you accept what happened, you're going to start to feel compassion towards yourself, the you that was, that no longer is, because you've grown, because you've learned. And you've allowed the previous you that made all these mistakes that you perhaps are ashamed of to shape you into someone wiser and more knowledgeable, someone more advanced, someone more evolved. When you're able to do this to yourself, towards you, when you can apply what I just said, which Eckhart Tolle didn't talk about, this is me diving in a little bit and explaining. When you can apply this to yourself and not judge the mistakes or the you that made those mistakes, and not feel ashamed and not feel guilt and not feel that you need to be punished and not go do something to correct something that you did in the past. You can. But chances are, if it involves more than just you, if it involves another human being, you're going to get yourself into quite a bit of a predicament. It's going to be a pickly, messy situation. But that is up to you. I'm not telling you don't fix your mistakes. I'm telling you observe them, see them. If quite a bit of time has passed on them, let them be. And just learn. Learn from them. And then you begin to apply this to others. You begin to apply this to other people. So instead of me getting triggered and coming on here and shitting all over the woman who was pretending to be spiritual, perhaps she herself is unconscious and unaware of what she's doing. I took it personally. Because I'm tired of seeing Dharma be corrupted. I'm tired of it. I'm very, very, very tired. Mainstream religion is so beyond me. I'm so beyond the mainstream religion. There's nothing that mainstream religion with all of its branches can do or say to suck me back into it. I never was a part of it. I'm beyond that sort of, I'm done. You know, my boat has sailed beyond mainstream religion. So for me to judge the people who are still believe in mainstream religion, or they've created their own religion, you know, and they believe it. For me to sit and judge them and hate on them is unconscious. So we don't understand what forgiveness means. The majority of us don't understand it. The majority of us forgive people for errors or mistakes or harm that they did to us when we truly haven't. And we continue to hold resentment. And on top of that, we continue to remain in the situation. Forgiving someone doesn't mean keep them in your life. Forgiving someone means you see the error, you see where they are when it comes to their evolution, and you choose based on that whether you want to keep them in your life, if it's a good fit or not. Chances are, if you're going to keep that person in your life, if I kept that channel of that lady who's extremely unconscious and speaking and pretending to be spiritual without blocking her, I would have continued to see that. And I don't want to. I'm beyond that. I understand where she is. You know, bless her. She thinks she's doing something good. I tried to correct. I left a comment. I don't know if it was received. Maybe it was deleted. Maybe people laughed at it. I really don't know. But that's about the capacity that I was able to engage in that situation. I'm not going to dip further in my consciousness, in my level of evolution, to fix something that's not mine to fix. All I can do is see it. I understand it. I've seen beyond it. I've seen through it. I don't hate her. I'm not going to allow her error to make me error, if you know what I mean. Not because I'm a snob, but because I carry enough compassion for myself and enough compassion for her to believe that hopefully she will find her own way, her own path, and self-correct. And if not, that's not my job. I'm not here for this. She's not my biggest problem in life. And as such, you apply forgiveness. I applied forgiving myself for coming on here and losing my mind, losing my shit somewhat, and dipping in consciousness. And because I forgave myself, I was able to actually forgive that lady, because it's not her fault that I allowed her to trigger me. It's not her fault. It's not. She thinks she's doing something right. Who am I? Who am I to come here and tell her, no, Who am I? I would be no different in my condemnation of her. I'd be no different than her. Oh my gosh, I hope this is making sense. I feel like I am diving way too deep here. But that is I think that's kind of it in a nutshell. Apply it to yourself first. And when you're able to apply to yourself, when you're able to see the mistakes that you've done and forgive them, forgive yourself, because you're able to see the unconsciousness in yourself that was in you, and you're okay with it because you're evolving. You will easily begin to apply this onto others. If you judge another, speaking of judging another, I just want to give you this is me going into a little bit of a rant. I don't like the level of control that I'm seeing on a lot of social media platforms, especially platforms like Instagram, YouTube. It's everywhere now, censorship, control, authoritarianism, whatever it is you want to call it, moderation. People, they like applying names that, it's just content moderation. It's not authoritarianism. But I was looking for alternative platforms. Yesterday I sat down and I wanted to find an alternative platform that is more free, that is decentralized, to Instagram. So something came up. I can't remember what the title was. But they were linked to the alternate platform to Twitter, which is Blue Sky, which is horrible. Blue Sky, in my opinion, is a horrible platform. And both those sort of picture-based platforms, which would replace Instagram, were linked to Blue Sky in some way, shape, or form. So I looked at one and I'm like, okay, they say they don't push content on you. Okay, that's good, because I'm tired of content being pushed on me. And they say that they're decentralized, and they say that they're free. So okay, I downloaded the app. There's no way to log into the app without having a Blue Sky account, so that was already a level of control. But I logged in anyway, because there's a way to navigate the space without creating an account. And the first thing I see is something being pushed on me, and it was Trump hate. It was a picture of Donald Trump in his MAGA hat, and it had thousands upon thousands of comments and re-engagements and reposts, and this old demented man, Trump hate, Trump derangement syndrome, full, like, in your face. That was how they wanted me. This is the post that they wanted someone who's considering, to download a different kind of app because I'm sick of seeing the same crap. This was the post they decided to push onto me. And it was full of judgment that I looked at. I'm like, okay, let's see what people are saying. This is, maybe things have changed. Maybe things are different here. Same old, same old. The person that created the post was shitting on Donald Trump and calling him names. And every comment underneath that post was shitting on Donald Trump and calling him names and judging him and this and that and the other. I immediately uninstalled the app and changed my mind. And you know what? I'm just going to stay with Instagram. Why am I bringing this in here? It's because when you judge another human being the way people love to judge Donald Trump, and I've become I've reached a point in my life where I don't care if you like Biden, if you like Trump, if you like Harris. I don't care who you like. It's none of my business ultimately what your political leanings are. But it's just interesting to see the collective unconsciousness play right now, because this is where we are at, and it's very, very prominent. And it's very, very easy to get sucked into the vortex that is the collective unconsciousness, which Eckhart Tolle speaks about in his book, A New Earth. If you judge another, then I can guarantee you, and you need to be sure, I'm telling you this as a fact, whoever that person is, especially if you've fallen into the pit of collective unconsciousness that is Trump derangement syndrome, because it's a big pit right now. It's a humongous vortex, and it has a very strong pull, very desirable pull, because so many people are in it. I can tell you that it's mirroring to you all these people shitting on him. It's mirroring to them a judgment that they hold within themselves. You hate. There's an aspect of you that you hate, but you can't sit down and examine it. You can't. Chances are because of your unconsciousness, because of collective unconsciousness, because of not knowing, because we're not there yet when it comes to our level of evolution. But you are projecting something that you hate about yourself, that you're unable to examine. You're projecting it onto who? The easiest person to project to, hate onto, is Donald Trump. So my advice, given what I've learned from all of this, is learn to forgive yourself. Sit down. Instead of, wasting your energy on shitting on the President of the United States of America and calling him a demented old man and whatever it is that you believe, maybe sit down and examine why you feel the need to do this. Why do you feel the need to call out another human being who ultimately you know nothing about, by the way, other than what the headlines, and the collective unconsciousness tells you? Why do you feel the need to judge and project hatred onto anyone? Onto anyone. I certainly didn't need to come on here and project that level of dissatisfaction onto that woman. I didn't need to do that, but I did. Because I was caught. I was caught in my own unconsciousness, my own trauma from living in a society that used religion as a platform to perpetuate hatred and oppress an entire gender, women and Jewish people. They hate them, and they give themselves the right to hate them and to probably do a lot of hateful things to them and to say a lot of hateful things about them. Because there's a fear. There's a fear inside. There's a collective fear that nobody wants to touch because the rules and the authorities and the religion prohibits us from examining. The religion that I escaped actually taught me when I was young that questioning the religion is opening the gateway to the devil. I was taught this as a young girl. Questioning anything the authorities told me was opening the gateway to the devil. So don't question. You're not supposed to question. And if you did question, society already had a punishment for you, which was death. So forgive yourself. Sit down and examine yourself if you can, and see what it is in yourself that you hate. And stop judging yourself, and extend some compassion towards yourself. Forgive yourself for something that you're not able to look at just yet. And instead, you see it in everything around you. You see it in the president. You see it on these people. You see it on those people. And you project hatred. And that is it. That's it. That's what I wanted to come on here and talk to you about. This is why it might be like, this might be a bit too much. This might be a way too deep. This might be way out there when it comes to spirituality. Because like I said, I don't want to tell you I've reached a level of spiritual evolution. I'm more than Eckhart Tolle. I don't want to say that, but nor do I believe this. God help me if I am. Because I don't know what's going to happen next to me. I don't know where I fit in this world, if that is. I'm just telling you that even in the book that I am reading by Eckhart Tolle, I can see pockets of unconsciousness. And Eckhart Tolle is a spiritual guru. He is a man that I respect. I love him. And it's just very interesting for me to still be able to find areas where he himself is unconscious. And only through that have I been able to shine a light at my own unconsciousness. And you know what? I'm okay. I'm a work in progress. So I'm not here to judge Eckhart Tolle. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to judge myself. I am just here to share. I am here to shed some light. And I hope I made sense in this little rant. It might have been a little bit not organized, because I usually have, step-by-step organized notes that I go through, because I know I can infiltrate many aspects. I can go every which way with what it is that I'm trying to say. But ultimately, the biggest challenge for humanity right now is forgiveness. Forgiveness of ourselves. Forgiveness of our past deeds. Forgiveness of our mistakes, be it personal, be it on a collective. It doesn't matter. Forgive, see it, move beyond it, gain the wisdom. God help us. Please gain the wisdom. Don't try to set things right. The people who believe that slavery was wrong are doing the exact same thing. They are doing the exact same mistakes. Who believe slavery was wrong and are trying to fix it now. You're engaging in the same tactics that were done, that you have deemed are wrong and abhorrent. You're just applying them to the opposite race. And that's not fixing anything. You have to forgive. You have to see what was done to a group of human beings as unconscious collective behavior and say we will engage in this no more, regardless what the skin tone is. Not I'm going to set it right, so I'm going to go shit all over the white people. That's how I'm going to fix racism. I'm going to shit all over the opposite race. That's not fixing it. You're still unconscious. You're still full of judgment. You're still full of hate. So we got to forgive ourselves, forgive what has happened and let it go, see beyond it, learn, move on, evolve. That's what I'm here to talk about. Thank you very much for your time. There's nobody here. I think I scared people off again. But I just wanted to, I don't want to say set things right, because there's ultimately, I don't know if there is a setting things right. There's just evolution. And that phrase that Eckhart Tolle mentioned in his book, where he said that forgiveness is seeing the unconsciousness in another human being and letting it go. Not letting it sink you in unconsciousness, not getting triggered by it, not getting reactive by it, and seeing through it. See through the veil of unconsciousness, which is usually the ego that you encounter in another human being, and choose to connect with their soul. Choose to connect with the consciousness in them. However way you choose to. That could be by walking away from them and never speaking to them again. But don't make them inferior to you. Don't make yourself superior to them. That is true religion. That is Dharma. And that is why people like us and me are here right now. Because Dharma, true religion, has been corrupted and it needs some cleaning up. The light in me bows down to the light within you. And I just wanted to show you my shirt. 1 second. I thought this shirt was hilarious. I got it from Walmart. Out here looking like a snack. It's for the holidays. All right, guys. I love you. I hope you enjoyed my little rant. Namaste.